We're talking, of course, about the civil unrest, particularly what took place in Portland over the weekend. One person killed. And Donald Trump decided to make a retweet and compliment some of these patriots. He called them patriots, this right-wing group called Patriot Prayer, some of whom were agitators. And Donald Trump decided to retweet that. So Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler reacted to Trump's tweets and violence in Portland. And here is what he had to say.
But the president has a role to play in this as well, in acknowledging and understanding those systematic injustices nationally. And the tweets that he has been putting out in the last 48 hours, attacking Democratic mayors, attacking those who are trying to bring resolution to the violence in their local communities. He has an opportunity to uplift us and bring us together and help us move through this difficult situation in our nation's history, and instead, he chooses to play petty politics and divide us. That's my reaction. So I'm going to do the work that I need to do here in my local community with my local officials to take accountability for what's happening on our streets. And I'd appreciate that either the president support us or he stay the hell out of the way.
So here's exactly what the mayor is talking about. I'll give you a perfect example of what the president did over the weekend that is dividing people and it's causing people to be more angry. And again, JD, you can think this is funny all you want to, but let me give the example.
I'm laughing hysterically.
Okay, well, let's see if you'll laugh at this.
There's nothing to laugh at.
Okay,
obviously, you're very biased against Donald Trump. You think Ted Wheeler is one of the worst mayors in the country.
Okay, thank you. I know.
Okay, no, he's horrendous.
What a shocker. Okay, so let me explain. Okay, well, let's see if you think this is horrendous.
I will.
Let's see.
Okay.
So the president of the United States decided to retweet a video over the weekend of a black man pushing a white woman into a subway in New York. That, number one, had absolutely nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, and it is something that took place in 2019, JD. So, JD, are you willing to admit that that's probably not going to help, and it was inappropriate for the president of the United States to put that up on his Twitter page over the weekend? Don't you think that'll entice more violence between black people and white people? That will not bring us together. That'll split us further apart. Why would the president do that, and are you willing to admit that it was wrong?
Why would that incite violence?
Is that a serious question?
Why would that incite violence?
All right, I'll answer the question, even though I cannot believe
are
you
you saying that?
Let me answer the question.
Saying it would incite violence from old white ladies onto black people?
I can't.
Onto presumably young. I didn't see that happen.
Okay.
But young black men.
Okay.
Now the fact that it happened in 2019, I think that is to me ridiculous.
Can I answer your question?
If it happened yesterday, okay, fine.
Okay, can I answer your question?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Please do.
Because I'll forget it because I know you're going to keep going. So.
No.
Okay. So I can't believe you even asked that question. Let me just describe what took place again, and then I'll answer JD's question, which is shocking to me. The president, over the weekend, posted a video on his Twitter page of a black man back in 2019 pushing a white woman into a subway, right? Horrible thing to do. Had nothing to do with BLM. It happened almost 2 years ago. But for whatever reason, and I know the reason, the president wanted to do that to divide the country. Black versus white.
No, he doesn't, Brad.
Okay, so explain to me what.
He has no desire to divide the country at all.
So if that's
none, zero.
So hold on.
Ted, and I don't.
If that's your opinion,
this is a very. You're trying to pick something out about Donald Trump and make it.
Let me ask you.
I want to talk about Ted Wheeler.
No.
Ted Wheeler 2 days ago.
Why are we talking about that?
Or 2 days before this happened, sent Donald Trump a letter emphatically denying National Guard support.
Let's stick to this video.
Emphatically denying any help. There's been 95.
You're going to get off topic. Okay, fine, fair enough.
Why do you want to talk about that?
Okay, so
it's totally irrelevant.
Okay, I know it's irrelevant to you.
On my page, on my Twitter page, I posted a video. I retweeted a video, and guess what it is? It is a young black man with a brick following an old white man. He hits him in the head with the brick and knocks him over. I've seen about 60 or 70 videos like that nationwide. And you know why?
Let me repeat.
Do you know why I post those videos?
Because I think I do know why.
Because I believe that the racism that exists in the United States, it is not mostly white towards black. I think there is a lot of black towards white racism. That's why I post videos like that. And videos like that prove that. And that's why I do that.
I'm shocked.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm shocked that you feel that way.
So hold on a second. I do have a problem with. I'll talk about it for 2 seconds. I do have a problem with what Donald Trump did and the fact that took place in 2019. 2019 doesn't make a difference. If that happened on Friday or Saturday, okay, fine. But the fact that he didn't know that it took place 2019, I have an issue with that. Of course I do.
Okay, first of all, I didn't say he didn't know. Of course he knew.
That's exactly
How would he know? Did it say 2019 on the video?
Yes, it did.
Okay,
yes,
well,
it said the date.
Well,
so of course he knew.
I would never tweet something knowing that it was from a year ago. I would never do something like that.
Well, thank you so much for admitting that. All right, let's take some phone
But
calls
you didn't let me give my opinion on Ted Wheeler, Brian.
Actually, I have another cut I want to play from Ted Wheeler. You didn't let me play the second cut. So Wheeler also
You're basically calling.
Can I just get through the next cut, and then I promise you I'll give you time to give your opinions on attacking another Democrat.
Wait. Giving my opinion or attacking which both?
Both.
Oh, okay.
That's what you do.
How about you say?
Never heard you attack
How about you say
Republican.
I will attack Republicans on a consistent basis?
Okay,
actually,
so
I think Larry Hogan is a very questionable governor of Maryland. He's a Republican.
Okay, so how about?
I think he is a Republican in name
fine.
only.
So if we're going to do how about? Well,
you just said that I don't attack Republicans. I just did it.
Yeah, about 1 in 100. So if
so now you're changing your story.
If we're going to do how abouts,
that makes sense.
If we're going to do how about when I mentioned to you what Donald Trump did, instead of making excuses for him, you immediately say, you know what, that was wrong. Instead of going on a 5-minute diatribe and then saying, well, you know what, I wouldn't have done that. Let's just admit what the president did was wrong. He made a mistake. So we're talking about Mayor Wheeler. I'll give you a chance to attack a Democrat.
Here's the problem with that.
Maybe not. Maybe I won't be able to get to the audio.
We only talk about Donald Trump's mistakes. We never talk about the good things that he does.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That is the issue.
Let me just say this. I think
we spend 15 minutes on his mistakes and we spend 2 seconds on the good thing that he does. That's the issue.
I want to say it's very
So I'll talk about his mistakes if you agree to talk about the good things that he does.
I want to say it's very courageous of you.
If we have that agreement, great, I'm in.
All right.
Let's get the second cut.
Talk? Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. I just want to say it's very courageous of you for attacking Larry Hogan, a man who opposes Donald Trump. Very courageous of you to do that. It's very heroic. So I just wanted to say that. But Wheeler also went on to Donald Trump, encouraging his supporters, stirring up trouble in Portland. That's exactly what Donald Trump did. Have a listen to what the mayor said about it.
He encouraged them to come into our community, and previously he has actually encouraged or at least tacitly approved of violence. And so I'm not surprised in the slightest. I'm surprised if he would be surprised by this.
All right, so we're taking your phone calls at 702-257-5396. We're talking about the carnage, what took place in Portland over the weekend. In my personal opinion, and I've said it a million times and I'll say it again, if you know that there's a Black Lives Matter protest, sure, you have the right to be there. You have the right to be decked out in MAGA gear, just like if you're in the middle of the street, you have a right to be an agitator and say all lives matter and whatever you want. My simple point, and by the way, the police agree with me because the police did everything they could to try to keep the Trump caravan out of the downtown area. That's a fact. The police have admitted that. They tried, and they were unsuccessful. Why did they do that? Why did they try? Because they knew that it would cause problems, and it did, and somebody died.
And Brian, that Trump caravan was in the street. Those protesters who had been protesting there for 92 days before, or 94 days before, by the way. And yeah, Trump did on multiple occasions say, Portland, if you need help, I will send out the National Guard to stop what's going on. Because keep in mind, there's been fires set. There's been a courthouse. I mean, a lot of things have taken place in Portland. A lot of murders happened, too. The murders are as high as they've been in the last 30 years in Portland. But Brian, what you're basically saying now is that, okay, let's say that the Trump supporters had no right to be in downtown Portland.
Didn't say they didn't have a right.
Okay.
Never said
that. They shouldn't have been there.
Never said that.
Well, why do you say they shouldn't have been there?
Well, the police agree with me.
Okay,
Here's why.
Should the 200
Right,
Black Lives Matter protesters been in front of the McCloskey's house?
So you asked me three
questions.
questions.
Answer that question.
Which question would you like me to answer? Because you asked me a number of questions. Which question would you like me to answer?
No, why do you think they shouldn't have been there?
I need to answer it again. The same reason why. Okay, sure.
Okay.
The same reason why the Portland police did everything they could, and they admit that, to try to keep the caravan out of the downtown area.
And where are they? Where were they at? They were on the streets downtown,
Brian. If you're going to ask
me, why can't Trump supporters drive down the streets downtown?
Okay,
why is that a problem?
Why is it a problem?
Why is that offensive for someone to drive down the street just because it's a liberal city? That's the only reason why. It's a democratic, very liberal city. You're telling me that a Trump caravan can't drive downtown?
Okay, JD, here's some advice in radio. When you ask somebody a question, please give them more than 3 seconds to answer the question. You interrupted me once again. I'm not going to answer any more of your questions, and I'm just going to go to callers now. It's no point in having a conversation with you if you're going to ask me a question. I wait until you're done, and I start to answer it, and you're about to do it again.
Very simple question here.
I'm not going to answer your question.
It's one question, Brian. It's one question.
No, I'm not going to answer
one
it.
question.
No, there's people waiting on hold. I'm not going to answer it. 702-257.
So the caller's opinion is more important than mine.
No, I'm getting.
I understand.
I'm getting tired of you interrupting me when you ask me a question. question. I'm respectfully trying to answer.
I ask you a question, and that question leads up to more things that I say. And every single time I ask you a question, you immediately think you have to answer it, and that's the issue. It's not. All right, I'm trying to keep. I ask you a question.
All right.
And then I keep talking.
Let's get to callers.
And you want to answer my question. The first question I asked, let me finish what I have to say.
Then don't ask me a question. Usually,
I
the way radio works is you ask us, you make a statement, you form your opinion, and then at the end of that statement, you ask someone a question.
This isn't an interview. It's us going back and forth.
That's not an interview. That's usually the way conversations work.
That's how our structure works when we actually interview people. We ask one question, they answer.
Hey, JD, where did you get that shirt from? Oh, by the way, I wanted to compliment you on your shoes and your shorts and your hat. Hey, let's talk about Donald Trump. That's not the way a conversation works.
But Brian, I don't do it that way. I ask a question related to the topic, and then I expand on the topic. But the question is setting up the rest of my conversation, or the rest of my statement about the topic. But you take it as me addressing you and ask you a question.